Well, our first case tonight is one that made headline news in August. Guests at a wedding party in Horndean in Hampshire discovered the body of 15-year-old schoolgirl Helen Gorrie in the grounds of Merchiston Hall Community Centre, only minutes from where she lived. There are several witnesses in the area who remember seeing girls who looked like Helen shortly before her death. So the task now, with your help hopefully, is to establish exactly what did happen that night. Helen was a sociable girl with lots of friends. She loved being out and about. But more than anything else, she loved spending her time with children and wanted to be a nanny when she left school. Helen lived on an estate nearby with her stepbrother and her mother Sheila.
She was a typical teenager, typical 15-year-old. She loved her music, loved dancing, adored babies and babies adored her. Very bubbly. She had a great sense of humour and personality that everybody loved. I don't think she had an enemy in the world.
On the night Helen died, she'd spent the later part of the evening at home with her brother Jamie.
What are you making?
Cheese sandwich.
Make me one.
Take your own.
Fine. Want some cornflakes?
No thanks.
10 minutes walk away from the house is the local community centre, Merchiston Hall, where on a Friday night there are all kinds of social activities.
Eyes on one another, didn't you, dear? And perhaps I should have mentioned hands off as well.
Horndean Amateur Theatrical Society were rehearsing a play there that evening. It's now about 11:30.
I borrowed a video, do you want to watch it?
No, I'll watch it later. I'm going to go up now.
But a few minutes later, she was back downstairs again.
Oh, I won't be long.
Where are you going?
I won't be long.
It wasn't unusual for Helen to go out this late. A lot of her friends lived nearby. Sometimes they called for her, or she might have seen someone she knew from an upstairs window and gone out to meet them. This is the old A3, or Portsmouth Road, at the junction with Catherington Lane. The main road runs past Merchiston Hall. At about 10 to midnight, 20 minutes after Helen left home, a local man saw a girl fitting Helen's description standing in a bus shelter on the Portsmouth Road. At the same time, a car, possibly an escort, came up from Catherington Lane. A passing motorist, Patricia Longier, also saw the girl getting into the car. But then further along the road, she saw someone else who looked like Helen, with two men.
The two men were of opposite appearance. The larger one of the two seemed to be overweight, casually dressed, red hair shining in the light. The other was slighter built, very smart.
Clearly one of those girls wasn't Helen. So if one of them was you, please call.
Come on, James. Yeah.
By this time, Merchiston Hall had closed, but there were still groups of people in the grounds. At around midnight, Sheila Good was driving past the hall along the Portsmouth Road.
As I was driving along, a man came out of the bushes. I got the impression that he didn't want me to see his face.
Some half an hour later, Roger Woods was driving along the same stretch of road. He remembers two men standing several yards apart, but he had the impression they were together. One man in particular caught his attention.
What made him stand out is the way he was looking at me, as much to say, oh God, somebody's spotted us.
Police believe it may have been around this time that Helen was killed. Her body was discovered the following day. She'd been asphyxiated. So appeals on several sightings there, and several sightings of girls looking like Helen that night, which is a problem for you, really.
Yes, it is, and clearly all the sightings cannot be Helen. So we would ask, if you are one of those girls, please come forward and help us to eliminate you. If the girl with the ginger-haired man is Helen, of course, then he is of particular significance to this inquiry.
And if not, of course, we need to eliminate them from the inquiry.
Yes, sir.
Now, there's somebody else you need to hear from. On the Monday after Helen's death, a shop assistant at the One Stop supermarket in Catherington Lane remembers one particular customer.
I saw her on the Friday night. She passed me on the street on the corner.
It was about 12:30.
And I thought, you silly girl, you're only about 15. What are you doing out so late?
You been to the police?
Oh no.
You ought to.
Well, yeah, I might.
Anything helps? As soon as I mentioned the police, it was a bit shaky. All he really wanted to do was just get away from me.
Now, that man's important to you. Why?
Yeah, he's vital to us. We don't have a positive sighting of Helen after 11:30 on that Friday night. We don't know where she went, who she met, or what she did. So anybody who can give us a positive sighting of Helen after 11:30 would be of great interest. And that man in particular seems to have, or he thinks he saw her. He needs to come forward to us.
He seemed a bit nervous about contacting the police. You can offer him complete discretion.
Yes, we can. He can contact us in confidence, and he need have no fear about contacting us.
Now, Murchison Hall was very busy that night, as we said. Have you talked to everybody who was there that night? It's Friday the 31st of July.
We've spoken to a large number of people who were there, but we know that there were teenagers in the grounds of that hall up until midnight. They have not come forward. It's essential that they do. And again, I'm not concerned why they were in the grounds of the hall, concerned only with Helen's death, and we need information from them. So please come forward if you were in the grounds of Murchison Hall on that Friday night.
Could be vital. A witness has also told you that a blue Ford Fiesta was seen parked in the area.
Yes, at about midnight, a metallic blue Ford Fiesta was actually in the grounds of Murchison Hall and may have been associated with two teenage lads who were there. No real description, except they were probably wearing blue jeans. But again, that car could be quite crucial. If you know who the owner of that car is, or if you are the owner of that car, please come forward.
Right, well, if you were in Horndean that night, if you saw any of those things, it was late Friday the 31st of July and right into the small hours of Saturday the 1st of August. If you think you can help at all, you can ring us here on 081 811 8181, or you can call the Havant police station. That's on 0705 321111. That's 0705, the code for Havant, 321111.